And thanks for staying with us. The Israeli government says the body of a hostage, Shiri Bibas, was not returned to Israel from Gaza with those of her two young sons. Israeli military says forensic testing revealed the body returned by Hamas on Thursday was not Shiri's nor any other hostage. The IDF is demanding that Hamas returns the correct body. Shiri Bibas' sons, Ariel and Kefer, aged 5 and 2, and another hostage, Oded Lifshitz, were identified. Israel has accused Hamas of violating the latest ceasefire deal. The government is demanding the return of Shiri Bibas' body alongside the remaining hostages under Hamas captivity. Hamas has not yet commented on the claims by Israel. The President of the United States, Donald Trump, and his Ukrainian counterpart, Volodymyr Zelensky, seem to be in war of words. President Zelensky is crying out over being sidelined in U.S. talks with Russia, which aims at negotiating for peace in his country's war with the nation. We have a report.
The Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky is not happy over the United States initiating talks with Russia about ending the conflict with his country without being included in the plan. He says the U.S. President Donald Trump is in a disinformation space with Russia. And in reaction, Mr. Trump called Mr. Zelensky a dictator. The remark was condemned by Ukraine's allies. In a White House briefing, National Security Advisor Mike Waltz told journalists President Trump is, quote, very frustrated with the Ukrainian leader for leveling what he called unacceptable insults at the U.S. president this week. But President Zelensky says he has clearly discussed the need for reliable and clear security guarantees to end the war during a meeting with President Trump's envoy, Kate Kellogg, in Kyiv during his visit to Ukraine. In an alleged G7 statement marking the third anniversary of the full-scale invasion of Ukraine, the U.S. objected to Russia being called the aggressor. That now comes as yet another sign of a rift between President Donald Trump's administration and Western nations which support Ukraine. Earlier in February, President Trump said it was a mistake to have thrown Russia out of the group and he would love to have them back. The remark shocked some of the other members of the G7, with the French Foreign Minister Jean Barrot saying Russia's return to the group was unimaginable. Meanwhile, the German Chancellor Olaf Scholz says it is too early to discuss sending a peacekeeping mission to Ukraine, as the nation can still count on support from Europe. The Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, Keir Starmer, is to meet Mr. Trump at the White House next Thursday. High-level diplomacy is expected to come into play for solutions to the war. Russia joined the G7 in the 1990s but was removed after Moscow annexed Ukraine's Crimea region in 2014.
And let's turn attention now to politics in Hong Kong. The leaders of the country's Democratic Party have announced plans to dissolve what was once the largest opposition group. Its chairman, Loh Kin Hei, says members will soon vote on the final decision on whether to shut down the 31-year-old party. The party has been struggling to survive following moves by China to crack down on dissent in the city in the wake of a 2019 protest. China and Hong Kong's governments have argued that such moves were necessary for national security. As part of the crackdown, China overhauled the former British colony's polling systems with what it called the Patriots Law, passed in Hong Kong in 2021, which ensured only people regarded as loyal to China's communist regime could serve as lawmakers or local councillors in Hong Kong. 500,000 Haitians living in the United States will have their temporary protected status ended by the U.S. government in August. This according to the U.S. Department of Homeland Security. The United Nations says this comes despite the deteriorating conditions in the Caribbean country, with gangs controlling about 85% of the capital and sexual violence against children, increasing by 1,000% last year. Temporary protected status is granted to nationals of designated country facing unsafe conditions, such as armed conflict or environmental disasters. President Donald Trump has moved to overhaul parts of the U.S. immigration system since he returned to office. In Sri Lanka, police say a notorious gang leader has died after he was shot inside a courthouse by a gunman who disguised as a lawyer. Police say the gunman used a revolver, which was smuggled in a book by a female suspect who is at large. The gunman managed to flee the scene, but was later captured by police. The gang leader was taken to hospital after he was shot, but was pronounced dead on arrival. Police say he was a suspect in multiple murder cases. He had been in custody since he was arrested in September 2023. The shooting is in the capital, Colombo, is among a series of killings by rivaling gangs, which has persisted despite warnings by government to crack down on gang violence in the country. And back here in Nigeria, a heat stress warning has been issued by the Nigerian Meteorological Agency following a surge in temperatures across the country as several states experience extreme heat conditions. In a report posted on X, NIMET revealed that Wednesday maximum temperatures ranged between 38 and 40 degrees Celsius, with Yewa recording the highest at 40 degrees Celsius. According to the agency, several cities, including Port Harcourt, Owerri, Enugu, Oka, Bida, Minna, Gusau, Isayin, and the Federal Capital Territory, FCT, recorded temperatures of 38 degrees Celsius rather. Meanwhile, Sokoto, Kebbi, Lokoja, Makurdi, Abakaliki, Ikom, Jalingo, and Yola experienced slightly higher temperatures of 39 degrees Celsius. NIMET cautioned that air temperatures are expected to remain within this range, with the possibility of slight increases in some areas. The agency identified several states as being most vulnerable to the rising heat wave, including Ogun, Lagos, Ondo, Edo, Delta, Kogi, Oyo, Kwara, Niger, and the FCT. NIMET is advising residents in these areas to take necessary precautions to mitigate the effects of extreme heat. A plane carrying more than 170 Venezuelan migrants who were held in Guantanamo Bay after being deported from the United States has arrived in Venezuela. The Venezuelan government says it has requested the repatriation of its nationals who were unjustly taken to the Guantanamo naval base. President Nicolas Maduro insists they are not criminals, but people who emigrated as a result of the U.S. sanction against Venezuela, and they are welcome back to the country as a productive force. Senior Trump officials say Guantanamo Bay is reserved for the worst of the worst criminals, but new court filings revealed that not all those being sent to the facility are considered to pose a high threat. The Vatican says Pope Francis is showing signs of slight improvement and is alert. According to the Vatican, the Pope got out of bed today to eat breakfast. The Pope developed a pneumonia in both lungs and is expected to remain in the hospital as he battles the infection. The 88-year-old Pope is receiving treatment at Rome's Gemelli Hospital.